The human mind is a locked room, filled with secrets we aren't even aware we're keeping from ourselves. We spend our lives believing we are the captains of our ships, navigating the world with logic and reason. But beneath the surface of your conscious thoughts lies a vast, silent engine, the subconscious. Today, we peel back the layers of the hidden architecture that governs your life. I'm Dr. Evan Cole, and this is the manual for the mind you were never given. At the core of everything is terror management theory, the fundamental subconscious fear of our own mortality. It is the one absolute truth we all share, that our time here is finite. This awareness creates an existential terror so profound that we have spent the entirety of human history building cultural anxiety buffers to manage it. We build empires, we create art, we join religions, and we cling to national identities. These aren't just social structures. They are symbolic immortality projects. They give us a sense of meaning that transcends our physical existence. When someone challenges your tribe or your worldview, your brain doesn't just see a difference of opinion, it sees a threat to your psychological shield against death. This is why political and religious conflicts are so intense. They are literal battles for the survival of the self. Research shows that simply being reminded of mortality makes us more aggressive toward outsiders and more defensive of our own group. We seek status, we buy luxury goods, and we strive for greatness, often driven by the silent whisper of the clock ticking in the background. Understanding this is the first step in reclaiming your autonomy from the grip of existential dread. But why do we sabotage our own happiness? If we want success, why do we often run from it? Enter psychological homeostasis. Just as your body has a thermostat to keep your temperature steady, your mind has a thermostat for your emotional reality. This is your comfort zone, but it's often anything but comfortable. It is simply what feels familiar. If your childhood was defined by stress or struggle, your brain wired itself to treat stress as safe. Now, as an adult, when things go too well, when you find a healthy relationship or a massive career win, your internal alarm goes off. You hit what we call the upper limit problem. Your brain perceives the sudden surge of joy as a threat to the established order, so you subconsciously trigger a reset. You pick a fight with your partner, you miss a crucial deadline. You start to feel an inexplicable sense of anxiety until you have successfully pulled yourself back down to the level of struggle you're used to. We stay in the cave because the light outside feels dangerous. Breaking this cycle requires more than just willpower. It requires rewriting the setting on your internal thermostat, convincing your subconscious that you are finally safe to be happy. Then there is the shadow. Carl Jung described it as the long bag we drag behind us, filled with every trait, desire, and emotion that we've judged as unacceptable. From a young age, we are told what to be. Be polite, be quiet, don't be angry, don't be greedy. So we cut off those parts of ourselves and shove them into the shadow. But the shadow doesn't disappear. It just grows more powerful in the dark. It becomes the source of our deepest insecurities and our most sudden, explosive reactions. When you find yourself intensely judging someone else, you are often looking at a projection of your own shadow. You hate in them what you cannot accept in yourself. Integration is the only way to achieve psychological wholeness. This doesn't mean becoming evil. It means acknowledging that you have the capacity for anger, for greed, for darkness. When you invite the shadow to the table, it loses its power to control you from the shadows. You become more grounded, more resilient, and ironically, more capable of true light because you are no longer fragmented. The shadow is not a monster to be slain, but a part of your soul that is crying out to be heard. Consider the power paradox. The traits that get you power, empathy, collaboration, and social intelligence, are the first things power takes away. Research shows that once individuals reach positions of authority, their brain's ability to mirror others' emotions actually decreases. They become more impulsive and less capable of seeing the world from someone else's perspective. It's as if the brain undergoes a chemical shift that makes empathy a luxury they can no longer afford. And this power dynamic extends to the world around us through nudging. You are in a digital and physical choice architecture designed by experts to steer your behavior without your consent. From the layout of a supermarket, where the most profitable items are at eye level, to the psychological hooks in your social media feed, Your environment is constantly whispering instructions to your subconscious. You feel like you're making choices, but often you're just following the path of least resistance designed for you. Understanding these nudges is the only way to regain your agency. You must become the architect of your own environment or remain a tenant in someone else's design. Our sense of reality is far more fragile than we admit. We've all felt déjà vu, the feeling of reliving a moment. But have you ever felt jamais vu? It is the opposite, the sudden, chilling feeling that a familiar word, face, or place is completely alien. It is as if the brain's familiarity switch has been flipped off, leaving you a stranger in your own life. This reminds us that truth is just a consensus between our senses. Take the McGurk effect. What you see can completely overrule what you hear. If your eyes see gay but your ears hear B, your brain will invent da. This is a glitch in the architecture, a window into how the brain constructs a coherent story from incomplete electrical signals. Even more surreal is the Capgras delusion, where the brain can recognize a loved one's face, but the emotional glow is gone, leading the sufferer to believe their spouse or parent has been replaced by an identical imposter. These aren't just medical curiosities, they are proof that our reality is a collaborative fiction. We don't see the world as it is, we see it as our brain needs it to be. Recognizing these glitches allows us to question our own certainty and remain open to the vast mysteries of the human experience. Beyond fear and survival, what actually drives us to grow? Self-determination. Theory suggests we have three universal needs: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Autonomy is the need to feel in control of our own life. Competence is the mastery of skills. Relatedness is the deep connection to others. When these needs are met, we experience intrinsic motivation, the pure joy of doing something for its own sake. But modern society often replaces this with extrinsic rewards like money or status. This creates the over-justification effect, where being paid for a hobby can actually kill your passion for it. To reclaim your spark, you must return to these three pillars. Design your life to foster your own agency, seek mastery in your craft, and build tribes that value your soul, not just your output. We also live in a social architecture governed by the spotlight effect. We walk through the world believing everyone is noticing our every flaw, our every mistake, and that embarrassing stain on our shirt. But the truth is far more liberating. Most people are far too busy worrying about their own spotlight to ever notice yours. In Thomas Gilovich's famous study, participants thought half the room noticed their uncool shirt, but only 20% actually did. This psychological bias keeps us small, trapped in a cage of imagined judgment. When you realize the spotlight is mostly in your head, you gain the freedom to take risks, to fail publicly, and to live authentically. Your mistakes are not the headlines of other people's lives. They are merely footnotes in your own. But within this fragile architecture, there is an incredible power to rebuild. Post-traumatic growth proves that our greatest shatterings can lead to our strongest foundations. When your worldview breaks, you don't just put the pieces back. You construct something far more resilient. Understanding your mind isn't just about academic knowledge, it is about reclamation. You have seen the hidden manual. Now take back your agency, integrate your shadow, manage your terror, and finally become the architect of your own destiny. I'm Dr. Evan Cole. Thank you for watching.